Hello and welcome to a new episode of BigEye. Today we talk with Thomas Hammonds. He is living in Asia and doing business there for the last 25 years in the furniture business, and we will of course talk about the coronavirus and how it is affecting his business and how is the virus affecting the Asian economies and the stock markets and how he is positioning himself in that situation right now. If you like this video, please also subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below what you think about the coronavirus and how it will affect the global economy this and the following years. Stay tuned. Hello Kemp, you are the Vice President of Eastlink Furniture and you are producing furniture for the high-class hotel industry focused in Asian countries like Rafles Singapore, Sheraton, Four Seasons Macau and Marina Bay Sands Singapore. How is the situation on the sales side after the coronavirus outbreak?
The immediate impact isn't that large for me, but I feel the effects will happen a little bit down the road for me, because whenever people are buying custom hospitality furniture, it's a long sales cycle. Current orders, nobody's canceling because there's certain commitments that they have at the moment. So it's not affecting my sales immediately, but it will affect budgets in the next quarter and the third and fourth quarter of the year because of the incomes that they're losing from the lost revenues at the moment.
Are you talking about this year or later?
Well, the lost revenues are immediate, but then it'll affect their budgets for next year because they're losing revenue now that they weren't expecting to lose. So now that'll affect what they can spend on, because I do custom furniture, so it's remodeling hotel rooms, it's remodeling restaurants and stuff like that. So they might back off on the remodels because they won't have the cash flow moving forward.
The tourism is very affected. I mean, when the hotels are not generating the revenues anymore to spend on furniture, then your business is also very affected from that, or?
Yes. So like I said, like immediately I'm not losing orders, but I know I'm going to feel the pinch. But for my business and my business model, my pinch is going to come a little bit. It'll be like 6 months away from now where I'm going to feel the effects of what's happening now. But because especially Macau, Chinese New Year is the biggest time of year for Macau to generate revenue, and they closed all the casinos for 2 weeks. They just reopened the other day, but even now it's reopened. But the visitors it's like a ghost town. So there's no money being generated.
It's like a ghost town. Can you also talk about Thailand? How is it affecting the Thai economy and the countries around Thailand?
The Thailand tourism. I mean, because Thailand's where I live. My business is registered in Macau. I do business all throughout Asia, but I'm based in Thailand, so I have a better feel for the immediate impact and what's happening. And here, I mean, hotel reservations just went through the floor. Yeah, they just totally dropped off, and this is high season. So, like again, like trying to correlate that into what's going to happen down the road. I don't know big picture, but I know it's affecting their pocketbooks now. So, and this is whenever they make all the money to last them through the low season. So, and occupancy rates are way down. I mean, significantly. Like some places, 70% off. So as far as bigger picture, I see risks in Thailand because I know there's a lot of consumer debt in Thailand, and this is going to affect a lot of small businesses because small businesses, they can't handle this kind of like change in the market. I mean, literally, when there's no customers and they have to pay their bills for the next month and they don't generate money this month, then it's going to have a serious impact on them and paying their bills and defaults and stuff like that. So I see bigger risk overall in the the local market here in Thailand. So.
Are there also Asian countries with economic potential currently, or should investors be cautious in all countries around China?
No, I definitely see potential. Thailand's a more mature market, so they're a little bit more, and they're very tourist centric. So, and they're also mature in the tourism industry. So, there's still growth, there's still opportunities. And I'm not saying Thailand's going to just fall off the market here, but I do see they like Vietnam. Vietnam's had a unique opportunity, and it's not because of the coronavirus, but they've had an opportunity because of the Trump trade war. So a lot of factories in China, like China's not the low-cost producer anymore, so a lot of factories have moved their production to Vietnam. So manufacturing's growing in Vietnam, and I relate to because I manufacture furniture in Vietnam for the hospitality market. Now, also because I supply the hospitality market, tremendous growth in Vietnam for tourism. It's what Thailand was 20 years ago, and people really like that. There's a lot of growth in the Philippines for tourism, and some growth in manufacturing. Manufacturing in the Philippines, for example, it's something that, like in the furniture business, it went away, but now it's coming back because China took it all, but now it's two factors. Their labor costs are going up, and then the Trump trade war just kind of had an immediate effect. So a lot of Chinese companies were moving their production outside of China, and then they started running. I mean, like before they were walking to other countries, and then they started running to other countries to set up factories to offset the trade war.
So you say Vietnam and Philippines are the new China?
Well, I wouldn't say the new China, but yeah, they definitely have strong opportunities. Don't let me mislead you. Nobody's ever going to replace China. It's just too big. I mean, you just look at port capacity as an example. Shanghai. I forget the number, but say it's an incredible amount, like 400,000 containers, and then the same capacity in Vietnam and the Philippines would be 10-15% of that. So you're never going to move all of that production and that supply chain. So, but they're what we'll call mini Chinas.
Are the Vietnamese people and the Filipinos as sophisticated and educated as the Chinese people?
Yes, they're educated. There's a different work ethic, and to be honest with you, I mean, my supply chain covers most of Asia, and I don't find anybody that works as hard as the Chinese work. Their work ethic and efficiencies are second to none. They do work very hard. But education-wise, the Philippines, from an English-speaking perspective, they're my favorite country to deal with because more people speak good English. So there's definitely a skill set there. And Vietnam's catching up, but there's definitely some language barriers. But they have the skill set we needed. Now, it depends how skilled you need as far as the product. Making furniture, I only need a certain level of skill, so I don't need computer programmers and stuff like that.
You are talking about your furniture business. What is your unique selling point, and how is your competition doing in that situation now?
I'm not really sure how they're doing as far as right now. I mean, they're going to be feeling the effects like me down the road. What makes me unique is, like I mentioned earlier, my supply chain. I've been sourcing in Asia for 25 years, so I have factories that I work with in China, in Vietnam, in the Philippines, in Thailand, in Indonesia. So basically, depending on the product and the materials, I can source the products in the different countries and focus on the specialties of those countries and the raw materials available in those countries. Like for example, rattan. Rattan I would source out of Indonesia. They have great workers. They have people that are willing to work, and there's a certain it's one of these skill sets that's handed down from generation to generation. So hopefully we keep another generation of people that want to do that type of of labor, because sometimes we lose those generations. Right now it's okay, but that's an example of like Rattan, Indonesia. I have QC people based in Indonesia, and then in the Philippines I have a great brass foundry. So being able to having a diverse supply chain helps give me an advantage as far as putting the whole package together for my clients.
In this situation with the coronavirus, are you invested into stocks, gold, silver, or anything else? Do you keep the same portfolio, or are you more risk averse now?
At the moment, I'm risk adverse, and not just because of the coronavirus, but it's for me. I see, in general, like my experience is a lot of. I'm American, so I know the USA market and I know Asia because this is where I live, and now we've had it pretty good for a long time now. So there's always going to be a dip in the market at some point. And I see the coronavirus as maybe a catalyst that sets us in the direction of a slowdown. So safe. I mean, I'm not. If you're in stocks, I mean, blue chip stocks are always. If you can ride the storm out, I wouldn't necessarily be in high risk right now. And obviously gold and silver and stuff like that. As I live in Thailand, I do like gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy commodity to convert into fiat, into a currency. And in the real estate, real estate's always good long term. I just think it's a little bit maybe oversupplied and the price is a little high right now. And I also think that the coronavirus, the lack of people moving around right now might tip that over, because I do see a lot of supply, especially here in Thailand. I see a lot of supply, and I see the banks are lax at maybe offering loans, which brings me to I see similarities to the financial crisis in the States back in 2008. So I'm not saying there's going to be anything of that proportion, but I see we kind of repeat the same mistakes, and I see it happening.
Do you think we are in a real estate bubble in Asia?
I do, but I'm not. But I do. I don't know. I see. I don't know how big the bubble, but I definitely see some kind of a bubble. But it's not my expertise, but it's something I was involved with in the States a little bit in the 2000s, and so I have a feel for it. And I just wonder sometimes. I drive around even in where I live around here, and I just see they build more and more and more, and I'm always like, where are the buyers at? And a lot of the buyers actually are Chinese buyers. So if this is going to affect China's economy, I know the factories are closed down right now, and they're not going to reopen until they're telling us March 1st. But they were closed anyway because of the Chinese New Year. But now they're not getting back to work. So this is going to have an effect on the Chinese economy for sure, and that affects how much they spend traveling, how much money they're going to invest outside of the country. So yeah, it's definitely going to have an effect.
Right now, there are over 400 million people under quarantine in China. When is it going to hit Shanghai?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I talk to my I get a lot of my fabrics from China. So my guy in Hangzhou, it's just south of Shanghai, but nobody's moving around. They're basically on self-quarantine. But some of the bigger factories have started to start working again, but it's on a limited basis at the moment. But they're saying, as of today, they're saying that the factories will be back and running on March 1st. So let's see how that goes. Because the factories, I mean, people can't work. It's a big deal.
Now it's decision time. You can watch this relevant video or watch this relevant playlist. You can subscribe to our channel, or you can subscribe to our German channel, BigEye Deutsch. See you next time around.